keep talking. So you're 5/8 Brad, you said,
Yeah,
in brass. Okay.
and the gauge, I don't know that number.
But just below just below this part here, the surface here.
yeah, I was just trying to think of what gauge of a brad. So this looks like a little heavier than brad than I'm familiar with.
Okay.
Now this is a really neat thing. That's not how I'm familiar with
No, it's attached.
doing it, but this is a very clever approach. But you see that connection is
It's off. Yeah.
it's gone. So
Yeah.
we want to go through and check every little place. This is called a Carlin, and this is called what do they call this one? Kind of blanking on the name of that, but they made they distinguish between these.
Okay.
So these Carlins, I think there's a brad from the bottom, as is, there should be this. Somebody's done a repair here
Yep.
with glass as well.
Rock solid.
Yeah, straight and then all the structure repaired.
Nice. These are interesting little brass.
Yeah.
How they hook in.
So were just left in the rectangular.
Like a square, like this kind of.
Yeah. And I think what they found was that the effort to taper this, you're reducing the weight of a very light item to begin with. There's not a whole lot of
A corner brace. Okay.
45-degree angle, probably.
Okay.
With the grain running that way, right along the hypotenuse.
Okay.
And it would be this material. This looks like spruce.
Okay.
Later on, they went to use, for these elements, these were sugar pine.
Oh, really?
And behaves a lot like spruce, but it was readily accessible.
What kind of material? You said you had someone.
That's Dacron. It's, aircraft.
Yeah.
Grade Dacron. I get it from a aircraft supplier.
Funny.
They supply it in 3 different grades. And I use the lightest one.
I suppose once I take the top off up there, they'll have these pieces here. I assume,
Yeah.
these will be up in the front.
Yep. Yeah, you'll see that. You'll see this X bracing.
Okay.
I'll show you how to. Right there, I'm opening the crack.
Yep.
It's opening
Yep.
like that.
Yep.
When it's open like that, I put the glue in there.
What kind of glue? You're talking like a glue stick almost, isn't it? Kind of.
With the glue stick, it's I'll use West 205 right now. It's pretty warm. I'd probably use 206 slow hardener.
They'll be in the winter time when it's probably cool or something.
Yeah, so a 205
Okay.
fast hardener.
Okay.
And initially, I just use the epoxy itself, no thickeners, and just wet out that crack. And when you open it, wet it out, close it. When you open and close it like that, it'll work the epoxy. It'll draw it into the crack.
Something I was wondering about. Do you think it's worth it to?
I don't get my fat ass in this thing.
That it's hard to manipulate the
All I'm meaning right now
plank and get it to open.
Yeah.
You can, like with a heat gun, you can warm the wood.
Okay. Sure.
Let's say just 10, 15 degrees
Okay.
warmer than ambient. So if your shop is 60 degrees, if you
Yeah.
can get it up to 70,
Okay. Okay.
warm it up, pull the heat away, and immediately put the glue on there.
Okay.
As the wood cools, it draws the liquid into the crack.
Okay.
So what do you think? Is it salvageable?
It's a project, but persistent. Just maybe peel off this whole piece, and I see cracks, several cracks there. Take that piece and maybe open those up a little bit, get glue in there, and get wet this out, and then just put that piece back there.
Oh, okay.
If you can do that and get it fair,
Okay.
and then after that's kicked off, you could put a glass patch, like a Band-Aid patch over
Okay. Okay.
that, and that's like the half-ounce
Okay.
stuff. And then perhaps after all these crack repairs are done, it could be completely sheathed with the glass cloth.
Glass cloth, yeah.
So,
Yeah, that was the big one I was kind of worried about. Okay.
that's the way they would do it. This looks like resorcinol, which when you originally use it, it's a really deep purple.
Okay.
And that was, I don't know, resorcinol might have been in use in the 60s and the 70s.
Okay.
Cloth.
On the unfinished wood. Okay.
Lay the cloth out and then put the
Varnish on top.
the varnish on there, wetting it out.
Okay.
Or, if you wish, you could just put a coat of varnish on there, first coat,
Mm-hmm.
sand it so that there's no...
Super lightly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's no prickly things to...
Yeah. Bubbly things, whatever they are. Yeah.
Because that cloth is just exceedingly delicate.
Okay.
And then drape the cloth over that.
Okay.
And I roll it and tip it.
Roll and tip.
So I use a quarter, 1/8 foam roller cover.
Oh,
That
okay.
yellow.
How
Stuff
big?
I use is yellow.
How big is the cloth anyhow?
It
I mean, how
comes-
wide is it?
It comes in a,
Oh, big sheets
I
like that.
think it's 60 inches wide.
Okay.
So if you get, you're going to need a full length. So you need,
Yeah.
the
Double it, goes inside and out too. You said too. Do it on the inside too.
Yeah, if you had 9 yards, 27 feet, that would be enough.
Okay.
And then you could get what you needed out of that.
So.
The original single itself would take these are the cheeks, these are the washboards, the gunnel, this timber here, this is the forward seat carlin, more of the bead, which in the boats that are built in modern day, these are yellow cedar. Bead here is yellow cedar. So these look like they're rivets, and I think you might have an easier time if you can possibly just remove these rivets and take this off of it as a unit. This is
Okay.
glued here. You could take these screws out. The boats that I am familiar with use a round head screw and not a flathead screw. They're a round head screw that's actually set in a counterbore just ever so slightly, and it's not at an angle square, it's just a little off, but each one is done that way. It's kind of a careful job so that there's a place for that riveted here the way they're done. And then just glued here. This comes, of course, after the Dacron deck has
Yeah,
been
yeah.
put on. So by removing this, the cheeks, it'll make this work a lot easier.
Yeah.
Sometimes the redecking is done with just this left intact, and you got to get under
Stuff
there.
underneath there.
Yeah, it's kind of tricky. It gives you a surface on here where you can, with about a 4-inch clamp, you can reach in there and clamp here and here. And so that the clamping pressure is square to that joint surface.
Okay.
If you try to clamp it right now, it's just a slippery slope, and
Yeah, yeah.
it goes all over the place. And
Maybe get a picture of it, and I can have to build one myself, probably.
yeah, so that's where I hesitate to.
Right above the.
Yeah, so the fin doubler would be on the side of the keel,
Okay.
and they'd be this 1/4-inch thick material, not quite as tall as the whole keel, and it would. What you're doing is you're cutting a slot in that keel and compromising the structure, so the doubler would give that structure back to the
Okay.
keel.
Mhm.
And in the absence of the section this way, I'm not sure what you do, but with an old boat like this, it might be good to somehow give some more structure back to that area.
You just kind of glue the pieces.
And maybe what you could do is create a piece to bring this back out to rectangular section,
Okay.
and you span that a little past
I
the
see.
fin, a couple inches past the fin, and then add doublers to it.
Okay.
That would help you. So the fin itself sits in a.
Let's take a look. Use this knife again, and it might be the way I build these is the brass fin. It's 32 thousandths thick, and it fits in a case.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
A fin case that's made out of the same brass. It's folded into a U shape and brazed at the ends, just to create a case, watertight case. And then at the forward end, the top part is closed off to create a little pocket under there.
I hear
And
you, yeah.
The brass has a tongue that sticks out underneath there.
Got it.
And back here, there's a notch right at the
Where you? Oh, yeah. Yeah.
tail end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's,
The fin goes down in there.
then you push it back.
You get it down in place. You push it back, and so there's the aft end of the fin case has a corresponding little
No.
triangular shaped piece inside the slot. So that both creates that thickness
Mhm.
and then creates a notch
Where-
which holds
Yes.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I-
Tap
I
it
don't
out.
want to tap on it just directly because you can spring this thing in. This is still remarkably flat, in really good shape. So then you just knock it forward and then
Ease it out.
pull it up and knock it back.
Is that how they built these old ones too?
I'm not sure. I see a nail right here that I think is holding the leading edge.
Okay.
So that might be a ring shank nail.
Okay.
So I'd experiment with trying to extract that out of there first. And there might be a ring shank nail back here. So all of
And
these,
then we're gonna need to take it off, this big part, with the fiberglass back on it too.
it's going to make the job easier,
Yeah.
and all the varnish